Get the bushes.
How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, PTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Big game, first name James. He interviewed, he called the games. Silver blue, you know the name from the Emmitt Smith to the Michael Irv. We beating skins, shooting birds. I see a bank snatch it out his fur. Favorite team on the planet Earth. From Monday night to Sunday church. DJ putting in the work. I'm tuning in, no need to search. Through thick and thin and good and worse. Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again.
Go to my Big Game Change.
Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again.
I get 100.
You ready? What is going on, everybody? What is going on in Dallas? Cowboys for life, DC4L. We are going live finally. It's been a long time coming, but guess what? Me and Boss Cowboys are here to do the thing today, and we're excited about being here, being able to do a show today for DC4L. Welcome everybody that's in the feed. Come on, share out there, share the heck out of this. We're going to be talking about some Cowboys football. Boss Cowboys, you're my special guest today. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Big Game James, man? Just another day getting ready for this game, brother.
Yeah, get ready for this game. We need to get ready for this game for sure because we're starting out with this 0-1 start. We know how Cowboy land is. Everybody's going crazy after the first start. But this is going to have to be, I don't know if we can call this a must-win game, but it kind of is a must-win game because you don't want to start 0-2. Playoff teams, you're not really going to have a high number of teams starting out 0-2 making it to the playoffs. So that's something that you got to keep your eye on. What's your kind of feeling going into this before we talked about some injuries, some matchups, and all that good stuff?
I feel good about it. I mean, I just don't feel any panic about this year at all. I mean, the only time maybe panic will start setting in if we really did lose T. Smith. But other than that, I think at any moment now we're going to really just start moving fast, especially on our offense. So I'm ready to dig in. I got my whole scouting report in front of me. So yeah, we can dig into it.
All right. Well, I'm going to show something real quick. I'm going to switch to this, just some quick Cowboys news that just started on the front. Ron Leary, who used to play with the boys from I believe 2014, was starting 2014, 2016. Everybody remembers Ron Leary. Everybody was calling for him to come back. Now he has officially visited with the Cowboys. He's doing his COVID testing along with right tackle Jared Van Leer. Also, he played with the Broncos, started out his career in the Oakland Raiders, 6'7" tackle. Ron Leary, we know what he was with the Cowboys. What are your thoughts about that right quick? Because I got my own feelings about this right here.
About time and common sense, and thank God. It's something that we should have actually, went after him a long time ago. That's something I was calling for this offseason. But at the same time, I'm not going to fault them for giving Connor Williams time, right? Because it's prudent, in my opinion, to always kind of give any player about 3 years. But he was so overly dominated in game one that it's almost like we got to stick somebody that's going to be able to protect our quarterback.
Okay, I hear you with that, but see, here's my issue with this. You're talking about bringing a Ron Leary in, right? You're talking about the guard position with Connor Williams. Yes, he got handled. He didn't grade out the greatest we saw, but we're not going against an Aaron Donald every single week. We have to say that. Now, check this out. You're bringing a Ron Leary in. What's up with Connor McGovern? Aren't we supposed to? We got a third-round draft pick who did not play last year. He's supposed to be battling with Connor Williams for this spot. Now you're bringing a Ron Leary in who's probably going to play what, guard, left guard? That's where he was best at. So if you move a Connor Williams out, what is this saying about Connor McGovern? I don't like that feeling because we're talking about Connor McGovern is supposed to be pushing for this starting spot. He's not even being talked about. And you have an older Ron Leary coming in over a Connor Williams. What's going on with that? Because that's what's starting to be my concern right here. What's going on with Connor McGovern?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. And I think what hurt a lot of these guys is COVID, right? So if you're trying to manage a football team, you got to also look at it in the eye of COVID, because COVID took away the preseason where you could get like 4 games of evaluation on the young guys. So even McGovern, to a degree, because he didn't get the preseason looks, is still considered a young guy. So, and then the fact that you got the biggest obstacle on the offensive line this week is actually straight over Williams with Grady. Okay. And Grady was a Pro Bowler last year, going straight up against that. So it's, to me, the way they're managing in this year because of COVID is going to be go with the steady vet over taking the gamble over the young guy that you have no film on. So I think you're right. And I think in our hearts, we wanted to see that, right? And it's common sense to say this guy has had a year of off season, a year of weight room, no combine mess. It was all straight football prep, but they don't know. And so when you don't know, to me, you got to kind of start gambling with guys who want to be here. And then I also look at the fact that Ron Leary really lobbied to be here. So you know how it is, man. You're a boss and you've been a manager and you've done all kind of jobs. You always like those people that want to work for you. You know what I mean? That really show that they want to work for you. You're willing to give them a second and third chance.
Okay, I hear you, but I'm still concerned about that. I still don't like the fact that a Connor McGovern who was drafted in the 3rd round wasn't like he was drafted in the 5th or 6th or 7th round. He was a 3rd round draft pick expecting to be playing right now, and he is not being heard about. So that is a concern with me. Now, let's stay with the offensive line because we're talking about La'el Collins, your guy, Steele, played in the game. You have been talking about Steele for the longest time. You know, I was suspect because of what happened in that college game, but I said, hey, he plays the part. He didn't get, if you go back and watch the film against the Rams, he didn't play terrible, but he did give up some plays toward the end. He is having a problem with his base because he's not strong at the base, reaches a lot, doesn't have the greatest technique, but does have the part as far as the size. So going into this, you got your right tackle out. You still might be starting Steele. Now you got Tyron Smith, who is a game day decision with the neck. I don't think he's playing. I don't think Tyron Smith is going to play. When you hear a game time decision, especially for an offensive tackle, I just feel like he's not going to play, especially when we know about these issues. Who do you think is going to get the start? Because they're just bringing these guys in. I don't know if Van Leer, I know they're activating offensive tackle Eric Wright because of Anthony Brown going on the IR for 3 weeks. But who do you think does on this left side of this offensive line here, blending in with Steele? Because everybody's talking about let's run Zeke, and let's run Pollard, and I feel that. But when you got these two stalwart right and left tackles that are hurt, and then you still got a Connor Williams who's how do you think this goes right here, big dog?
I think when you're dealing with all the things that we're dealing with, to me, this is going to have a lot to do with coaching. Because when you're looking at Tyron out, and we looking at the fact that Collins is out, and you have an undrafted free agent protecting Dak, the game plan has to change. So it's going to have to ride on Zeke. You're going to want to get that. We would have to, in my opinion, big game, mirror what McVay did to us last week, where they really put the ball on the ground. They really concentrating on getting the ball out of Goff's hands, and they really tried to get it to their weapons quickly and let them do the work. So this is where Kellen Moore gonna have to kind of show, is he a chess player or is he a gambler? So if he want to come out there with the 11 personnel where he spread it out with the 3 receivers and he always want to go airborne, this is really not the game for that based on what's going on with the tackles.
Right.
Now, if Tyron Smith come out there, then run whatever you want to run, do whatever you want to do. But if it's the case to where you're right and Tyron Smith does not come out there, that's a big problem, and you have to have a totally different game plan.
Yeah, I hear you with that. See, here's the thing: when we're talking about a McVay, what you just currently brought up. How do I say this?
Say it, my brother. Say it.
How do I say this? It's just the issue is, here's the thing. I'm not trying to hate on Kellen Moore. I'm trying to continue to give him the chance, because here's the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. This is the one guy you have to keep, Mike McCarthy. So let's make this happen. But you know, when we watched this game against the Rams, and I'm not even trying to pile on him like a lot of people have, but it did look Linehan-ish. It did look Linehan-ish. It looked, and the reason why I say that, because we're still seeing the deep fly and go routes. We're seeing the streaks. We're still seeing the same plays. It's almost like you're not giving Dak a chance to be able to use every facet of his game. Now, you just told me about a McVay, right? He comes into the offense. He comes into the game understanding that their offensive line not the greatest. So what does he do? He gets Jared Goff with play action fakes. He gets him with bootlegs. He gets him with quick 1, 2, 3 step drops to get the ball out quick, so the quarterback doesn't have time to get hit by the defensive lineman. What I'm saying is, why can't we do some of that in our offense, where you have 3-step drops, or if you go into the shotgun, man, make these quick passes. Let's not sit there and make Dak a sitting duck, because to me, it's almost like every time Dak is in that shotgun, it's always a deep or long pass. We need to get some bubble screens. We need to get some of those type of dump offs. You got an Ezekiel Elliott. You had a rush that was coming after you, and an Aaron Donald they had a 4.5 seconds was the average on PFF. He was doing a 3.65. Okay, so that means he was getting in there ridiculously quick. So what do you do to counteract that? You throw quick screen passes when that rush is coming at you, and use Ezekiel Elliott. They caught one with the touchdown with Ezekiel Elliott. This needs to be happening, in my opinion. Bubble screens with a CeeDee Lamb, things that can get the offense in a quick rhythm. How about a quick no-huddle offense, some RPOs that really work with Dak actually running the ball? Make these kind of threats, because then you don't have the defense gets a beat on you. What do you think, dog?
I think we both just thinking the exact same thing. Just kind of take what worked with the Rams and put it on Atlanta now, and that depends on the tackles. And I think everything you said was definitely spot on, because if Tyron is able to play, I would actually say attack their corners, because their corners to me is the weak spot. When I really scouted them aggressively with Seattle, they threw a fade on 4th and short for a touchdown to DK. And and we have the outside speed like that, and we got a quarterback that can drop it in the bucket. So, and they was going big time vertical on Atlanta. So I think it's going to be all about the tackle play this game. And I think it's going to have to be an early adjustment. If you go out there and your tackles are holding up, then play your game. If you go out there and those tackles are because remember Atlanta 2017,
Mhm.
You know what's
I
the
actually showing
saddest
that play
part of
where
that
he,
game?
I actually showing that play where he threw that touchdown on DK. Keep going though.
Yeah, the saddest part when Chaz Green was getting devoured, right? It was the fact that the receivers coach, I think his name was Dooley, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said in the first series, he said, we're going to have to do something about Chaz Green. He's getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the receiver coach. He wasn't the offensive coordinator. He wasn't the head coach. He was just the receiver coach. And his eyes supposed to be on his receivers, but Chaz was getting beat so bad. In the first series, he said, we're going to have to get help. But remember, we didn't help Chaz, and that's when Dak got sacked 6 times
Right.
by second team defensive end. So we're gonna need to see better chess play from our offensive coordinators and head coach. So if the tackles are not holding up, we better see adjustment. But I actually think we will with these guys. I really do.
Well, let's hope so. Like I said, I was just showing that touchdown where DJ Metcalf caught that long pass on Oliver. Just like you said, and I'm going to show a little bit of their stats, how they got worked up a little bit on their team. That I say that, like I said, when I looked at Seattle, a lot of their plays, Russell Wilson was behind the backfield. I think their running back had 6 catches out the backfield. I mean, and he had 8. He was 8 for 8 behind the line of scrimmage. He was killing them over the middle. I got some of those stats as well. That's what the Cowboys need to work. Use the quick screen game. Use the over the middle. Use some slants. We don't always have to go and throw it deep to Amari Cooper. We don't always have to go in deep and throw it to Michael Gallup. It doesn't always have to be a long, deep route. My thing is, I said this, and I want to see how you feel about this, boss. When Dak Prescott got drafted out of Mississippi State, they didn't draft him because he was a polished pocket passer, right? They didn't draft him because of that. They drafted him because he was a dual threat. They drafted him because he was a leader and he was a dual threat. He could run and he could beat you with his arm. He could beat you with his legs. Needed some more work on his passing game, but them legs, you could use them. Now we got in the NFL 2016. Nobody really knew about him, so he was using a lot of his legs. Now all of a sudden it's like they try to morph him into this pocket passer, which, okay, that's good. Learning, recognizing the plays and reads, that's all good. But guess what? Other teams are still using their quarterback's legs. Other teams are using their Josh Allen. You get what I'm saying? Dude ran 14 times. I think Cam Newton ran like 12, 13 times. They're using these guys as a dual threat because it makes it another option. And I feel like that right there will throw off the defense and make this a quicker pace type team. And Dak is better when it's quick paced.
Mm. Why you stop, man? You preaching so good.
I'm just saying, it's you feel me, boss? It's almost like the obvious. It's like, and here's my thing. I know Mike McCarthy has a Kellen Moore, right? But if it gets to the point where if this is another gaffe, and let's say we drop an 0-2, we know Mike McCarthy knows how to call an offense. Does he take over the play calling eventually? Because, like I said, I feel like the Joneses forced to Kellen Moore, and it was not Mike McCarthy saying, oh, I want Kellen Moore. It was more like, this is our guy. You work with him. Does he take over the play calling if this continues to be what we call an inept offense? Because you can't have all this potential on the offense of CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott scoring 17 points.
Man, you raised so many good points. I say, Stephen Jones definitely had his hand in the cookie jar, and he was looking over the shelves as he was cooking under Garrett. That was no doubt. And one of my funniest memories, but also to your point on Dak running, do you remember? I think it was the 2018 Redskins game 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Romo was the commentator. You remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
And Dak was using his legs big time. The only problem with Dak is Dak don't have no off switch on 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, and where you got to kind of pull back a little bit. Like, I wish he played a little bit more like Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is the best at using his legs. He never put his body at risk. He's going to take the positive yards, and then he's going to just continue to move the chains, and it doesn't matter how. And he's not afraid, but he protects himself. Dak, he's going to sell out. And so remember, he sold out for that first down, and that safety hit him, and he basically looked like he was drunk. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And Romo started saying, it's a concussion.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely out the game. He's done.
Yeah,
Oh man, he's done.
Romo was almost acting like he was happy a little bit. But after that game, Stephen Jones said he didn't like Dak running. And from then on, Dak stopped running, which says that he has a lot of influence on the style of quarterback that we seeing today. Because that was the game right after the Texans game. And you could see in the Texans game that Deshaun was using his legs and his arms equally, whatever worked to move the chains. And Dak went into the next game like, I'm going to be the same way. And it was working. Dak had about 400 total yards when you added up his passing and his running. And that's epic for quarterback. But you're right. He put it up. Now, if Stephen Jones still has sway, then we're not going to see Dak running. And Dak is also playing on a tag because to me, I don't know if you noticed this, but you remember he was running for the goal line versus the Rams? Dak tucked the ball, and he doesn't really do that, right? He usually sails out. Remember the Phoenix game in 2017, remember he did that dive? See, he didn't do that versus the Rams. He was like, protect yourself, take the positive. So it's so many like influences that might take away from Dak using his legs, like the fact that he not paid and maybe the influence of Stephen Jones. But in terms of your vision of what would open us up even more, absolutely. If we really just let Dak be Dak and do whatever works to move the chains and get the points, we will be even more dangerous.
I mean, that's what needs to happen. I'm listening. Shout out to everybody that's in the feed. Richard Woodward, Shay Stewart, Lance Bell, Tyson Goldie. Amanda, thank you very much for allowing us to do this. Just listen to James Nooks, Butter Delaney. Who else? Thomas Howard, good for you guys to see in here. Teresa Grace, good for you guys to see in here. Shout out to everybody that's listening in the feed. They're basically talking about the OC, offensive coordinator, and even Tyson mentions right here, he says, even in losing Burrows using his feet also, Dak can use his feet as well as any of the guys need for this to happen. And I think, like I said, we did a show with the Late Night Hype Boss, and we were talking about this, and Law brought this up. Law Nation brought this up, and he was talking about the same thing you just leaned to at the end, talking about, well, Dak is a franchise player. He doesn't have a full contract. How do you know he's not thinking about that? I said, well, he plays with a reckless abandon. He's still going hard, but now what you say that, he usually does extend his arm, and he did pull it close to the vest. So maybe he could be thinking, look, I'm not getting hurt. I'm not going to be getting killed. And then next thing you know, I hurt an ankle or I'm out for an extended amount of time, and now you lowball me on my deal. Because let's not act like management won't do it. Let's not act like they'll go to just be like, oh, that's okay, you got hurt. We're still going to pay you $40 million freaking dollars. No, they're not. They're not going to pay you $40 million and you're getting hurt. So it's kind of a slippery slope right now, boss. It's a slippery slope right now at how do we want to play. Because he does need to use his legs. No matter what we say, he has to use his legs because it makes this offense that much more dynamic. Now, I showed on the feed some of the PFF, Pro Football Focus, if I can get it out. I showed some of their stats where Bobby Oliver, not that good of a corner. They got the young rookie A.J. Terrell out of Clemson. He was getting burnt up really good, and it's not like the Seattle receivers. They have great ones. You get what I'm saying? Russell Wilson was 31 of 35, 332 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But a lot of his passes, except the long one to Metcalf, were short passes, 0 to 10 yards, over the middle, slants, comebacks, dump offs with screen passes, and then once he got him susceptible, he went deep. Now, I think we can have that. Plus, he used that RPO and was running the ball. We're going to have to do that because the Atlanta front, even though they weren't getting to the quarterback exceedingly fast, they still had 3 sacks and 10 hits on Russell Wilson. And one of my concerns is, and I wanted to ask you about this, is Takk McKinley. He had a pretty aggressive game that game against the tackle from the Seattle Seahawks. I'm a little concerned with him with Steele. And just like you mentioned, Garrett in the middle, and also Dante Fowler on the left side. And we don't know if Tyron Smith is going to play. That's a little concerning. So that's why I was saying we got to get the ball out quick with Dak. Don't need to be having them sitting in the pocket and getting those when we're down. Here it is. This is what I don't want to see, boss. 2nd down and 4. 2nd down and 3. Dallas goes back to pass, and guess what? Big sack. Now it's 3rd and 14. And then we're back to playing that long ball distance. We were 3 for 12 in this game against the Rams. Cannot be like that on 3rd down again this week. And one last thing, boss. I know I'm throwing a lot at you because maybe I'm frustrated. But what I'm throwing at you also is we got to stop from playing behind. Every time, it doesn't seem like this team plays good from behind. We need to get a lead. Every game we playing, teams are jumping on us quick, and then we have to play from behind. We need to get a lead.
Man, whew. Man, that's a lot of good stuff, man. see, I'm gonna take it bit by bit too.
Okay.
When you watch the Seattle tape, one thing that gives me great encouragement is you're so right that Seattle was really killing them on in-breaking routes and slants, killing them. And we know Dak is the best at throwing those in-breaking routes. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. So he throw probably the best slant in the NFL, like hands down. Like he's going to complete those. So we got a good window of what works. And you're right. I think you scouted them exactly like I scouted them and saw what I saw. And we never even talked about this. But yeah, getting the ball out quick, but going at them with quick routes and the quick game is going to really be good. I do like the fact that Tack is going up against T. Smith if he plays. So if he plays, that mostly neutralizes T. Smith,
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing that you said that went heavily into my scouting of Atlanta, that really put the nail on the head, and I was going to basically conclude the show with this. Atlanta is the team that you really want to get ahead on majorly because, see, they treat Ryan like we treated Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
They worship him. So they too quickly would take a game and put it all in his hands. Matt Ryan, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you watch the Florida game from last week, not you, but everybody else, one thing that happened that the Dallas Cowboys wouldn't have went away from, Gurley on his first two runs hit them for about 7 to 8 yards. He gashed them quick. Boom,
right.
Boom.
Right.
And they quickly abandoned it and went straight to throwing as soon as Seattle got a lead.
Exactly.
They didn't stay to the plan. They didn't stay disciplined. They went. So that tells you that we're not getting ready to go against the chess player that we went against last week.
Right.
We going against a team that's prone to go into their bad habits. Mm-hmm. And their bad habits is to overthrow, become one-dimensional, but you can force that.
Right.
You force that with what you just said. Getting in front of them, being aggressive to get in front of them. Mm-hmm. If you win the toss, select to get the ball. If you lose the toss and you got to come out on D, you let everybody know, man, we got to get in front of these boys. Get this ball back now. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody got to have that sense of urgency out the gate, because if we do, then it's going to play right into they're going to play into our hands, right? Mm-hmm. If we get ahead of them, they're going to become one-dimensional. They're going to start throwing. And then when they throw with Matt, they drop him back like big dummies.
Right.
See, at least McVay, he was getting that ball out because he had respect for that pass rush. Mm-hmm. These dummies, Atlanta will try to get back in it and keep dropping Matt back.
Right.
And that's going to allow all our boys to tee off. So what you said to me was the heaviest point, is you got to come out with like super aggressiveness to get ahead early. Because if you get ahead early, it should be a great day for Dallas. Now, if you back and forth with these guys, it could become a shootout.
And that's what I'm worried about. And then that's what I'm worried about. I'm glad you brought that point up, as I'm showing a little statistic of Matt Ryan and what he did in this game. You were hitting everything on the nail on the head, especially when you watched that game against Seattle. They were running the ball good. Just like you said, Todd Gurley came out, bam, bam. I was like, okay. And Seattle's defense, let's understand. Benson Mayoa, Deontay Moore, these guys used to play with us, Bruce Irving. They don't have a solid front. They don't have a great front line. These guys were cast-offs with Dallas Cowboys. These are their starting players. They don't have a great front four. And Gurley was gashing them. But just like you said, as soon as Seattle got a quick lead on them, they abandoned the run, become one-dimensional, and start throwing the ball everywhere. Now, what they also like to do that we need to be wary of, because I think Dallas is susceptible to this is the play action. They love to go hard with the play action with a girly underneath and then trying to go deep because you see, even on the chart, Ryan was 2 for 3 for 63 yards, over 30 yards, 2 for 2 for 45 yards and a touchdown. He's going to try to go deep with Julio Jones. Calvin really is a good route running receiver. That Russell Gage kid had 100 yards as well. What are we known for? Getting gashed in the short passing game. And if you look at where Matt Ryan threw it, and if you watch the game, look where he attacked. Even if you look out here on the feed, 5 of 7 over the middle, 6 of 9, 5 of 7. He throws it quickly over the middle. So the Cowboys, like we said, we have to get pressure on them because when the Seattle Seahawks started bringing pressure in Jamal Adams, and they started bringing that pressure, Matt Ryan was coming off the edge, throwing quick passes, throwing them in the dirt, and we know Matt Ryan will throw interceptions.
Yeah. And Matt Ryan looked good too, man.
Yeah,
Matt
but
Ryan
here's the
ain't looked
thing.
that good in a while.
But here's the thing. Skywalker brought this up to me, and this is what I was thinking about as well. That Matt Ryan only had 189 yards going through the third quarter. He ended up with almost 500 yards because they just got the passing because they were behind. They will abandon the run. He'll just start throwing it everywhere. And that's what I'm worried about. And that's why I say we have to get a lead on the Falcons early, because if we don't, this could be the shootout, the 35-31 type games, and I don't feel comfortable with that because I'm not understanding where our team is at right now.
Yeah, and one thing about Atlanta, they do have 2 number 1 receivers now. Ridley has fully arrived. Like I said in my analysis when I was on the show Tuesday, I said that basically if you want to get a mirror of the progressions of Ridley's career, just look at Gallup and then imagine Gallup getting ready to go against Gallup. Except Ridley is probably better, like straight up. Like he looked better than Gallup last week, straight up. Like he looked like a real number 1. He looked like he got the weight now. His routes was killer.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking like a baby AB. So, I mean, this is the perfect time for Jordan Lewis to be back.
Yes.
I mean, the perfect time.
He's got to show up.
And because Matty Ice, I mean, just to my eyes, his feet look better. He looked like he was in rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like now Matt Ryan gonna be Matt Ryan. You're right that he gonna let a couple of them get away.
Mm-hmm.
But he was clicking. I think between quarter 2 and quarter 3. A little bit of quarter 4.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of fell off at the end of quarter 4.
Ramsey,
but between quarter 2 and all the way to the mid of quarter 4, man, Matt was looking good. So I think you got to make a heavy emphasis to try to get to him this game, and like you say, get in front of them this game, and make them one-dimensional this game. That's to me the keys to really try to come out on top of this game.
Yeah, like I said, let's hope like I said, we got to get on these guys early. It's a situation where we have to get on these guys early. I can't stress that enough, boss, is that get the elite early, get the elite early. Let's talk about some injuries. Like you see Anthony Brown is going out on IR for 3 weeks. We know Sean Lee is out, Van Der Esch is out, Blake Jarwin is out. What do you think the Cowboys can do to kind of offset these injuries, especially on the defensive end? We know Jordan Lewis is going to be active. Who do you think is going to be on that defensive linebacking core? You got Jalen Smith talking about he's going to still stay at the strong side, but he's going to be making the calls now. I'm a little concerned. He had 11 tackles last week, but it wasn't an effective 11 tackles. I talked about it. I had George Teague on my show a few days ago, and we're still talking about that leg. I'm sorry. I just feel like he still protects it and moves away from contact because he doesn't want people to get near it. So what do? Do they bring a safety? Does a Brandon Carr play in this game at the safety position? Use him more of a like a robber type back to help offset Jalen, bringing him down as a linebacker. What do you think they do with this? Because I just showed you the chart. Matt Ryan is going to attack that middle, and he's going to do it a lot. They're going to be in that shotgun. They're going to do play fakes. They don't really throw a lot of passes to the running backs. They do have a lot of 2 tight end sets. I believe Austin Hopper is he still there? I think he is. Not him or not him. Somebody else is over there. Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is over there, and What are you feeling about the linebacker play in the secondary with the situation of how Matt Ryan may attack us?
Um, I mean that question is so frustrating because you already know my answer. Because we talked about this in all season. It's gonna be the same answer me and you talked about like literally in March, where me and you sat up there and we was on Voss show and we said we need insurance for
hmm
linebacker. That's
Linebacker. We
exactly
talked
what we
about it. We
said.
said it was going to happen.
We said it was gonna happen, and it was, and it's not. None of us patting ourselves on the back like,
No.
we're so right, we're so right. It's about having a foresight, understanding that past is prologue. So the fact that history just clearly said that Sean Lee, this was going to happen. And then you had a linebacker with a neck injury, and we all know Jalen favored that leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we all also knew that every time Gifford would get in the game, he would go right back out of game. So if you don't learn from the past, you're gonna repeat it. And we
Mm-hmm.
kept saying it. So your question is, what do we do about linebacker? I mean, like what we said during March, we should have brought in Malcolm Smith. We still should have called in Clay Matthews because, and we not saying make these guys big time gamers.
Mm-hmm.
We just saying that we need some quality veteran insurance, just like you doing with Looney. It's
Right.
the same thought with Looney. I mean, with Lowry. It's the same thought.
Right.
Except we had the foresight of this in March.
Right.
And we've been saying this. And like, so when these guys started breaking, like, I wasn't surprised. You wasn't surprised. I mean, I literally said on your show 2 months ago, I said, we dealing with glass, and glass. Like, and so we need to get some insurance in here because then if you lose Joe Thomas or if he get banged up, now we in super crisis. It's not even in trouble. You in super crisis now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because somebody said this, man. And I don't want to believe in no conspiracy theories, but our linebackers are treated like sons to a degree. Like you can hear it in Stephen Jones on how he talks about, well, Sean Lee, he's just one step away from being able to take off that chin strap and go right to a headset and start coaching. It's like, and he said this. He said, if you looked at the tail end of the season, Sean Lee was our best linebacker. Like, no,
Yeah, that's that BS, man.
Yeah, that's that son stuff,
That's
man.
that
And it's
because
like,
and I made a post about it, not to even cut you off, boss, but
you good?
I made a post about this how I'm done. I've been saying this for the last 2 years. You know what I've been saying about Sean Lee for the last 2 years. Like he's holding the team hostage with these injuries. So what? Because he's hurt, he's not getting paid. So what? But he's not playing, and because he's not playing, it's affecting the whole team. Because you're essentially saying you already have a spot here, no matter what. You've been hurt all preseason, bro. I mean, we didn't even have preseason. You haven't even practiced, and you're still on the team. That's bothersome to me that you didn't even practice, yet you still have a roster spot just because you're Sean Lee. People need to see that in that game against Washington, he played terrible. He's not the same guy anymore. And just because he got to play 16 games last season, because he didn't start, we need somebody we can rely on. We let a Malcolm Smith go. We didn't even try to indulge in the linebacking core. We have a Francis Bernard who I didn't think he was impressive. He made the team. We didn't get to see anything, so we're going on by what they say. But he's still a rookie at the end of the day. Why aren't you getting some kind of veteran, just like you say, covering your bases with the offensive line? We need linebacker help, okay? Because Luke Gifford, I can't trust him. He's always hurt already. And I like Joe Thomas, but all right, how does he mix with Jalen Smith? We seen Jalen Smith. Is he going to play a different type of game in this game against the Falcons? Because he's going to need to. Because if he doesn't, Cowboys are going to be in trouble once again. Okay? And one of the things I'm showing on this chart right now, boss, I don't know if you see, Ezekiel Elliott's run chart, right?
Yeah.
And here's what's concerning. Look at the run chart. Look at his 7 attempts. What side is it on?
The right side.
No, it's on the left side.
Oh, okay. 7 attempts, 37 yards. Yeah,
Right.
that's left
That's
side.
where all his yards were. Look where on his 3 attempts, 9 yards. That was where Steele side was, right? Right? So I'm concerned. So when we talk about
That's some
let's
good
have
stuff you put down
I'm
there,
saying,
man.
so when we're concerned about, hey, let's run the ball with Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, I'm concerned about that because the right side, he ain't getting no yards. Left side, we ate because Tyron Smith was there. But if Tyron Smith does not play, okay, now I'm concerned where did these yards coming from Ezekiel Elliott? Because we've seen time and time again, Ezekiel Elliott, not because of Elliott, he's not getting the opening and he's getting stuffed at the line. And then guess what we're doing? 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, and then we're long down and distance. And then we become predictable. I think that's what the frustrating part with me is that we are a predictable type offense and team. And it looks like those waves are starting. And I'm not trying to go back to Garrett or anything else, but it's a nasty pattern, dog. Patterns and trends. Patterns and trends.
Yeah, and so your next thing that you brought up was what do we do with Carr? You put Carr on the field.
Yeah, Carr's
I
got to
don't care
play.
where you put him either, and I mean that. I don't care if you put him in a nickel. I don't care if you put him at corner. I don't care if you put Carr at safety. Put Carr on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best 5.
Right.
Straight up. Carr is a freak. He's a freak in a special way. And super underrated. So, because remember, nobody wanted to pay Carr in 2016, which was understandable because, he wasn't getting enough turnovers to command market setting dollars that he was enumerated. He was paid that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but people forget what was happening in 2016. In 2016, our pass rush was ranked 31st in the NFL. So what does that mean for corners? That means you was covering pretty much every game for 7 seconds per snap.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when Tank had the back injury. So we didn't get the super Tank into 2017, but 2016 Tank was injured, So Carr and Mo and even my boy Anthony Brown, they had to cover in 2016. So when you put Carr back into this type of pass rush, you go get an improved Carr even at a later age. And he's super durable. Like he never missed a game.
Mm-hmm.
He's made in a laboratory, So, and he has much better tape than the safeties that we have on the field right now. Much better tape at safety and corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you're getting ready to go against a team like this who can spread you out and go air attack on you, you want an athlete out there. Put him out there. That's a veteran. He's seen all type of offenses. He definitely wanted to be a Cowboy. It was up to him if he wanted to be a Cowboy. He first went to the practice squad to give wisdom to those guys who might have to come up after him if something was to happen to the safety group. I mean, he's a Cowboy through and through. I say definitely put him on the field and go and start getting his. He's the best type of veteran. You're talking about bringing in Leary, right, for stability. He's the perfect guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody we didn't have the benefit of preseason to say what a guy might do. Now we know what this guy likely is going to do, and he stays ready.
Yeah, I agree, boss. Like I said, this is a game that we can win, but here's the things that I feel like the Cowboys need to do. The keys to the game to win this game. We have to get a lead. We have to get a lead early, my opinion. We can't be playing behind. I feel like that plays in Atlanta's hands and this becomes a shootout, and I really don't want that. Second, we have to attack Matt Ryan early. Blitz him early. Don't let him get in any kind of rhythm. Matt Ryan starts getting in a rhythm early. He starts throwing the ball everywhere, and he's a dangerous quarterback when he gets in rhythm. Blitz him early. He comes in a 3rd down, first possession, whatever. Send the blitz. Yes, we're going to have to trust our guys. Diggs, Cheeto, Lewis. We're going to have to trust those guys. But Mike Nolan is known for his blitzing. I feel like he played a little bit close to the vest in this game against the Rams. I feel like it should have been more attacking because they should have known what McVay was going to do. It's not like McVay is tricking and setting up all kind of different stuff. He's running the same type of wide type motion offense. He's sending the same guys in motion. He's sending the same guys out the backfield. I mean, after a while, you kind of should know what's going on, and you're still a step slow. I don't understand that. In this Atlanta game, it's a better offense for the Dallas defense because of not all that pre-snap motion. It's not going to be a lot of that going on, but the Cowboys need to get after Matt Ryan. Stop Todd Gurley early and get after Matt Ryan. Make them one-dimensional. Hopefully, we can get some turnovers on the defensive side of on the defensive side of the ball.
So, my game plan, I guess, would depends. So if Tyron Smith is out,
Mm-hmm.
I want to definitely make this a very slow down game, and I want to try to run my offense through Zeke and Dak.
Yeah.
And I will put Dak legs into play this game.
Mm-hmm.
If Tyron is out, I will say we're going to have to let our best two weapons be our best two weapons. And then hopefully the running game is able to open up the short passing game, and we can get some consistent drives off of that and keep Matt Ryan out of rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the similar game, like actually try to have slower drives, like real monotonous drives, like really make it go back to the Gary Scott Linehan system. Honestly, that's what I would do if Tyron Smith is out. If he's playing, then I would say air it out on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Go at them fast with the design of trying to get in front of them early, to your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to make them feel the anxiety of let's shoot out with these guys. Because if you make them start feeling like, okay, they score fast, we got to score fast, it plays into what you just said, where it gives us a chance to get after Matt Ryan because they're going to be trying to shoot out back to us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely attack it from the offensive side, the way that you said it, if Tyron Smith is playing. Now, so I would be ready. I would have two game plans ready for this game, depending on what's happening, with my offensive line. Now, on my defense, I agree with you. I would rather us go aggressive with these guys. I would actually say, okay, let's just let our corners play. Let's make it harder. Let's challenge these guys, even though, and I would still put somebody over Julio. I would put somebody over Julio. I would double him a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say or play what they call two man. So with two man, the corner's going to play press coverage, bump, right?
Right.
And basically break on everything underneath with safety help over top. That's what that would always kind of be what I want to do mainly versus Julio. But everybody else, I'm gonna challenge him. I'm gonna be like, Diggs, hey, you going against Alabama? You know what I mean? Really, you got it. Alabama versus Bama.
Right.
Lewis, do your thing. We glad you back. Hey, just make it a 50-50 game between you and the third receiver. He go get some, you need to get some. If we finish like that, we good. And then I will put Carr at safety. I will bench Woods right now. I will bench Woods. I will put a better athlete out there, a bigger athlete out there, and I will go with Thompson. Now, the matchup that favors Atlanta that we got to be careful of is Hayden Hurst. The only good thing, because we don't really have cover guys in safety or linebackers. We don't. Like Jalen Smith is just not that, when it comes to coverage. Same thing with Thompson. That's really, if they were smart, they would attack that. But if they kind of going with what they usually go with, attacking through 11 personnel, I would trust my corners and put two man over Julio and blitz.
I'm feeling you right there. Definitely have to have a two-man, but like you said, Ridley, this is going to have to be a situation where Cheeto and Jay Lou and those guys, Diggs, y'all going to have to match up, and y'all going to have to play this man-to-man and shut these guys down. Like, we're going to have to trust these guys sooner or later. You brought Mike Nolan in to play a different type of defense, right? Aggressive man-to-man press. When you're coming with the blitz, you're going to have to play some man-to-man principles, right? So that's what you brought him in for. You're going to have to eventually trust him in doing this. We're going to have to get after Matt Ryan. This ain't no game where Matt Ryan can sit there from if Matt Ryan is sitting there in the very beginning of the game, boss, the first few series, he's sitting there and just chilling, having all day to look, it's going to be a long damn day, dog.
Yeah. And see, it's something we didn't bring up, man, that I researched on Atlanta. They built like the Dallas Cowboys of 2014. They low key have nothing but first rounders on their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on their offensive line is a first rounder. They literally drafted 2 first rounders to protect Matt Ryan in 2019. So you right. I mean, this is a team that you got to get after him, or if they able to create clean pockets and put him in rhythm, it's gonna be a shootout, and it
Mm-hmm.
could be a dangerous shootout with him having clean pockets and in rhythm. But I like the matchup. If we come out there big game and we playing off man, cover 2, cover 3, I'm gonna say, man, this dude was all hype.
Yeah,
You know,
that's exactly what I'm going to say too.
yeah, Mike Nolan was all hype. I mean, like I want to see you,
I want to see
Mike.
aggressive.
Yeah, I want to see
I want
you
to see the
do
aggressiveness.
how you did us.
Yes.
Because when he came, Mike came to us with New Orleans. Man, they manned up on Cooper, man.
Mm-hmm.
They manned up on Cooper. That's what I want to see. And it's basically almost like that same division anyway. He know Atlanta. So if you had the balls,
And he knows Matt Ryan.
yeah. So if you had the balls to go man up on Cooper, I want to see them same balls on these guys. Now, if our corners just losing, adjust in the second half. But I want to give him a whole half to battle. The whole half, like, hey, if he gets you, he gets you. But I'm betting that y'all go win some too. You know what I mean? And this is the deal. When it comes to receiver versus corner, I'm cool with, and I mean this as a ratio. Their receivers can win 5-1. But see, that one need to be a pick or something like that. Like, I give them, okay, they moving the ball, but let's keep challenging them because we go keep coming after Matt Ryan,
Right.
And we got ball skill guys back there.
Right.
We got ball guard, which is Jordan Lewis, for those who don't know, and we got a dude. I was so proud of Diggs, even though he got bombed last week, because guess what he was doing? Both times he got the balls caught on him, he was attacking the football. So I can't be mad that he was doing what we drafted him to do. Now, they just had to throw perfect balls to beat him, and both balls was perfect. But we both know, Big James, for me playing at U of H and at Carter High, Division I and all that kind of stuff, and you coaching and playing corner, we know ain't no quarterback will always drop them dimes in there like that. Eventually, you go throw it a little bit off, and I'm going to get you. And that's the way we need to attack this game.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. Now, we got a couple of questions. We got some people in the chat that got some questions for you. Brian, is it Double? Is it? It says, what do you think of Brown not being able to go? Me personally, I like to have all hands on deck, but I do feel good with Jordan Lewis coming back with Brown leaving. I'm not ever crying for Brown, but he is a serviceable corner, but it's not like I'm crying the blues only because he's another body that you're going to need.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy Brown is actually out. I think it's just at this point we know exactly what he is.
Yep, he's Orlando Scandrick Part 2.
Right, or worse, because at least Scandrick had a rebound where he had he put together some good years, and then he fell off. But Anthony Brown came on year one and was decent, and then just got bad. And then at his best, he had a decent game or two occasionally. So, I mean, at this point, to be all the way honest with you, I said Tuesday before I knew he was going to be on IR, I was ready to see Godwin. I was ready to see Godwin at West Street, especially for this game. People that can get in your face, that's athletes. Just me. I know it's wild. I know y'all like, oh my God, you talking about pulling West Street up? Yeah. I really was, because I felt like you wasn't going to get no better with Anthony Brown. And at least you got somebody that's rangy.
And it's going to challenge.
Somebody at the line of scrimmage, that's long to where Ryan would have to throw over you. I mean, that's just me. And I'm honestly, this is just me, Big James.
I don't know what they see in Brown. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry.
I think he one of those politicians, man.
He's an Orlando. Orlando Scandrick got 3 contracts with the Dallas Cowboys. That's what he reminds me of. He's going to get, like, you always want to get rid of him, but the Cowboys were always going to keep him. I feel like that's what he is because, I mean, What trait do you only talk about him with? His speed, 4.3, but he don't ever play to it because ain't no point of you having 4.3 speed and you don't play to it on the field. Corner, you got Cooper Kupp eating you alive. You got regular receivers eating you alive. You're never playing to that. Your ball skills are very marginal. It's been 4 years. They're marginal at best that we're seeing. Yet you get a 3-year extension. I don't get that when you're trying to get ball hawks and people who get the ball, he gets an interception here and there, but it's not like you were ball hawking it. It's almost like he threw it right in front of you and you caught it like Larry Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he gone, man, and I'm honestly tired of Godwin making all these spectacular special teams plays and getting no rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Man, did you see him last week on special teams? It's like he's a special team dream team god, brother. This dude makes plays. And like you, because you remember, I see, because me and you, we from the same place. You from what they call Funky Town, for those who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
that's Fort Worth. Big James is from the Metroplex, right? I'm from Dallas, right? We both have great memories of Kenny Gant,
Mm-hmm.
and we both have great memories of Bill Bates. You know what they did for those guys because they made so many special teams plays? They occasionally got their shot on defense, man. They put them on the field because they made plays, you know? And it's like
Bates
with
had when
Anthony.
he played safety, dog, he had like 130 tackles when you're at the safety position, man.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like I want that old school to where, man, you what happened to working your way up from special teams? And yeah, he older, but I saw the respect that the other guys have for him. Jordan Lewis and Awuzie was talking after the Giants game last year. They was on 105.3 The Fan. They was sitting at a restaurant, and it was after Awuzie ran down Saquon Barkley, which to all of us was phenomenal because we know that he's a freak 4.3 speed, 220-pound running back,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So to run him down, everybody was like, Awuzie, you got something there, brother. You got something. Everybody was already, we saw it, the film didn't lie. He hawked him down. But they asked him, they said, who is the fastest out of you guys? He said, man, I could take the title on game speed because I did just walk down Saquon, but it's Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan Lewis said the same thing. He said, it's Godwin. Now, don't me and you over here like, what do you mean? It's not Anthony Brown.
Oh, I
It's
would
not
never say it no
Westry.
down. I would never say it no down. Because look, think about it. When he made the team, he was a special teams demon. I think when he got hurt, they were talking about he was probably making the 53 roster. I think it was 2017 or 2018 where he hurt his ankle like the last preseason game. He was flying everywhere. He was breaking up passes. He was in the receiver's face. Although it was preseason, you could see him going after the ball. And I just feel like just like you said, Mike Nolan, I'm not going to call you a fraud, but if we're going into this game and
Passive.
you coming in passive, aggressive, and you're just waiting for things to happen, man, it's going to be a problem, man. It's going to be a problem in
Yeah.
Cowboy land, and it's going
Yeah,
to be
we gonna
like,
start we gonna bark at you.
yeah, we're gonna start barking at you because it's like if you're gonna have this same thing, why are you making changes? You made changes to show a difference, and you didn't wait to show a difference in week 5, week 6, week 7. You wanted to see those changes immediately. You wanted to see a difference immediately, and what we saw against the Rams was the same thing we saw last year, and it cannot be the same thing when we play these Falcons Sunday. So going into this Sunday game, I hate asking predictions. I'm gonna ask people their predictions that's in the feed right now. I hate asking them, but what is your prediction? Give me a score prediction. What are your thoughts how this game goes? Offensively, who do you think has a big game?
I think Zeke has another big game.
Does he get over 100?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, he had
yeah.
100 last time against him.
Cause see, I mean, we never really talked, but after the Rams game, that was one of the biggest highlights to me, and one of the big things I was the most excited to see. That in game one, Zeke was in pure midseason form.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke has never had a fast start.
Mm-hmm.
And that start was like playoff Zeke. And that was game one. And I think Zeke is gonna get off this game. And I think we know to involve Zeke and make him a main piece of the sauce now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that even though they was doing things that I wanted them to do a long time ago with Zeke. They started using Zeke hands.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeke's most explosive plays, everybody everybody started to get off of Zeke train last year
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't see the 60-yard run, right? Or the 50-yard run or the 40-yard run. But Zeke still had explosive plays when you threw to him.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeke is his most explosive, actually, and his biggest, most explosive plays came when they dumped it off to him, threw the screen to him, where he can make people miss and where DBs are afraid to tackle him. It was 4 people lined up to make a tackle on him. All of them missed because nobody want to hit big head Zeke. And that's just honest.
Right.
So I think Zeke go get off this game. It's made for Gallup and Cooper to get off. That's if Tyron is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if Tyron is kind of not himself, this is a game to me that's made for Zeke on offense. Now, and if Tyron play, I hate to make predictions. I hate it too. I really don't. But I think this is gonna be the Florida Burger game. I think this is the game we're gonna put up 40.
Okay, I'm hearing you. I'm looking in the comments. I got let's see, we got Rodney Harrelson. He says 24-21 boys. Shaw Stewart says 28-10 boys. They're agreeing with you as far as the Zeke looking good because he did look strong. He did look fit and trim. Tyson Godey says if we don't see changes on defense, we lose 31-24. But I'm hoping we see changes we need to see. I like that we need to see those changes as well. I'm going on there. I don't like doing the score predictions any longer because that pissed me off from last year. But if I'm going to throw one out there, I'm going to say 35-31. I just feel like this is going to be a shootout for some reason. I just feel it. Hopefully, this defense, even if we do have a shootout, we need sacks. We only had 1 sack last week, and that was Alden Smith after 5 years of not playing. He looked great. 11 tackles, 1 sack. But come on. We can't be starting the season with just 1 sack, man. You got a Everson Griffin. You got a Alden Smith. You have a DeMarcus Lawrence. You brought in Poe. You have a young Tristan Hill. We need to see this defensive line produce in this game and a lot. Matt Ryan needs to be harassed and a lot. He needs to be on his back. He needs to be pressured. Those things need to be happening. Now, on the defensive side of the field, I've already mentioned my kind of things that the front four. Who do you think on the defense really needs to shine for the defense to really play good this game?
Jordan Lewis and Diggs and Awuzie. I'm gonna go with 3 guys.
Okay.
I think those are the 3 people that really gonna make everything happen. I think, and I honestly feel like this: Jordan Lewis gonna earn his money this game
Mm-hmm.
because we should be able to do a strong comparison between Anthony Brown impact on the field and Jordan Lewis. Like I said, we only need the secondary to win 1 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying 50-50. We just need them to make a couple of key conversions on 3rd down. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that, where a bat down, like a pick, anything like that on those great receivers, because we're going against 2 number 1s this time. I think those are the 3 keys, because I think if those guys can cause some cover sacks, it's going to snowball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those guys have the talent to do it. They really do. I would really let my nuts hang if I was Mike Nolan and be like, hey, corners, y'all getting ready to make y'all money today. This is where if Awuzie, it's a contract year for you, baby.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis, it's a contract year. Let's show them you worth millions this game.
Yes.
Let's show them, because I'm going to let y'all get after it this game. It's going to be y'all. Now, I'll be really thinking first half, but I would tell them this y'all game, and I would let them battle. Because if they battle, we go get everything we've been wanting to see: the sacks, the pass rush, the linebackers gonna be freed up. You know, it's just gonna be, can those guys cover? But I really think they can. And my prediction would be, if they get us a turnover, I'm gonna say 40-30 or 40 to, because I think we go high score in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like a 1 touchdown win.
Okay. Great analysis, by the way, and I'm going to bounce off that here in a second as we get ready to close. Annette Rary Boothang, she says 28-10. Brian Duble says 48-28, 42-28. A lot of people are feeling like there's going to be a high-scoring game because we just know what Matt Ryan does at this. I feel that as well. Gregory Davis says Cowboys 42-20. So you're hearing a lot of 40 burgers, had you just says, as my guy Jeff Kavanaugh says all the time. But just to give my kind of last thought on my agreement with you on that back end. Like I said, I really feel like we need to get after Matt Ryan. We need to pressure him early and often. This is not a game where let's sit back and let's try to figure out, let's get him comfortable. Let's no, blitz him, get after him early. And I'm bouncing off of you with that. Jordan Lewis, Diggs, Owuzie, like you said, y'all got to earn y'all money. Diggs, I think he's just going to continue to get better, so I'm okay with him taking some lumps because I think he's going to battle. I think he's going to get the interceptions eventually. I think that's going to happen with the experience. Yeah. But the Jordan Lewises, the Cheeto Awuzes, you guys got to earn y'all money tomorrow, man. Y'all got to earn y'all money. Like you said, if y'all want these contracts, it ain't even with Dallas. I would love for them to come back with the Cowboys, but if y'all want to earn a contract with another team, this is what they need to see. And they always say, players always play better in their contract years. So let's see. We need to see you playing your best game in this game. Jordan Lewis has been out this whole time. They said they had a good camp. Owuzie had the interception last week. He had a pretty decent camp. But you guys really got to show and prove. And I feel you, boss. We need to get after these guys right at the line of scrimmage, hands on them, aggressive, in your face, and let's battle. Okay, he got a pass on us. Let's go in the zone. Let's go into cover 2. Let's go into cover 3 because he caught 2 passes on us. Let's not abandon it and get scary because Julio Jones caught a long pass. We're here to battle. That's why they play the position. You were brought in to be aggressive. Don't get scared because a few passes get caught on you. Stay aggressive because when you stay aggressive, turnovers and things happen. Sacks happen. Forced fumbles happen. Big incompletions happens. Turnovers when it happens the most when you stay aggressive. So that's going to be the word of the day from me. Be aggressive in that play calling on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. Mike McCarthy said the honeymoon was over. It should have been week 1. The honeymoon was over. But there's no excuses. There's no time to play. The Dallas Cowboys cannot start 0-2, especially when the 2 teams you lose to, if that does happen, those are 2 NFC teams. What do we know? What is one of Dallas' problems always? Losing those NFC teams early, then they battle back, and then you got a tiebreaker, and one of the teams that you lost to in week 2 comes back to bite you in week 16. You feel me? So these games are important. First 3 games are NFC games. Gotta have it. So closing thoughts for you, boss. Let them know where they at. We appreciate Dallas Cowboys, DC4L, for letting us be able to do this show. Thank you very much, Amanda Foster, for letting us grace your platform once again. Appreciate you, boss, for coming in for me. And let's talking Cowboys football. Thank you for everybody that was in the feed. We appreciate everybody in here. And, boss, let them know where they can find you and where they can check you out as well.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy Sports, especially on Facebook. And I'm gonna write immediately a recap after the game. Now I do the recaps like literally probably 30 minutes or an hour after the game. Now no more than waiting till the next day. Y'all go get it same day. So if the game over at 3:30, you go get my recap at 4:30.
There it is. So make sure you check it out, and also make sure you check out the game tomorrow. If you're not at the game, there will be fans at the game. 25% of fans. I think Wes Tyson is up at the game now. You can check it out on his feed. But make sure if you're not and you want to have a really hype time, get on the late night hype tomorrow. We're doing our watch parties. They were ridiculous last week. We're going to have our watch party tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Second to none. Nothing like you'll ever experience. So we can all cheer together in one mind, one accord to get this W against these Falcons so we can start 1-1 and then head to Seattle and get after them Seahawks. So without further ado, thank y'all very much, DC4L, once again. Amanda Foster, appreciate you once again. Boss Cowboy, I appreciate you as always. Thank you for everybody that was feed that talked. Ken Matney, Brian Dubell, Gregory Davis, Tyson Goatee, Boothang, Shay Stewart, and whoever all the people that were in the feed. Thank you very much, and we will be talking to you soon.
Big game.
Yo.
Can I say what's up to a couple of people real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, take it down.
I saw my boy Ken. He said what's up. My boy Gregory Davis, because I've been rocking, but I've been seeing y'all showing love. I appreciate it. Shout out a couple more people. I saw my boy Buddha.
Buddha Delaney.
Yeah, Buddha Delaney. Yeah, he go hard. Let me see. My boy Rodney Harrison. Yeah, so I saw a couple of people say my name, so I wanted to acknowledge them real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully, like I said, we'll be doing this again. during the week. Hopefully, next time we talk, we have a victory, and then we can be talking about happy times of what we did and how we beat up on Matt Ryan, how Zeke ate, how Dak turned out, and how Tony Pollard finally got some carries and scored some touchdowns. You feel me?
Right.
And Trevin Diggs got an interception. Now I'm throwing all that in the air. So let's make it.